I want to bring in now a former Trump White House Associate Counsel, May Mailman. She's the president of Restoring Integrity and Trust in Elections. May, Judge Chutkan, in the election interference case, did say that the former president's lawyers should have been prepared for this moment. That was the federal case. But even in this Georgia case, I mean, shouldn't they really be hitting the ground running here? I mean, they've known about these potential charges coming for quite a while now.
They have, but we have to remember that Trump hired his lawyer only recently. His lawyer has a trial scheduled for basically the month of September. And so to go to trial in the month of October isn't feasible. But I think really it's not the timing that's the issue for President Trump in asking to sever his case. It is a notice that Fani Willis filed yesterday saying, hey, FYI, when you ask for a speedy trial, it means that defendants are not given the rights that they normally would as far as given evidence in advance, being able to bring witnesses at the last moment. So there are all these procedural protections that defendants don't get. And Trump basically says it's not fair for that to apply to me because I'm not requesting a speedy trial. So in that case, he basically had to sever.
That's true. But there's a part of this, which is the legal maneuverings here of the Trump team. I mean, he got a brand new lawyer at basically the very last possible moment. He doesn't want these trials happening before the election. Is this just another delay tactic?
So I don't think that this is a delay tactic. And I know that there was a switch in the lawyer, but I think actually this is one of the more responsible and earlier switches. It was before he even made his first appearance. What you don't want to see is a switch in a lawyer like on the eve of trial or during trial or something like that. That does start to feel like a delay tactic. But I think that October is outrageously fast, and it's actually a little bit unclear who's going to go in October. It seems like right now the court has only said one guy, this Kenneth Chesebro. And even Sidney Powell, who's asked for a speedy trial, she doesn't want to go with Chesebro. So he's asking to sever, but it's not even clear from whom. I think that most of the defendants, including President Trump, are all going to be ending up going later. Not necessarily because of delay, but just because of reality. The government hasn't even provided discovery yet. They don't even have the evidence to sift through yet.
This afternoon, a judge also cleared the way for cameras in the courtroom in Georgia in those trials of Trump and his co-defendants. This is something that is allowed in the state level, but not at the federal level. And Trump, of course, being the reality TV star that he is, he likes to play to the cameras. How do you think that will change how he and perhaps how he wants his attorneys to approach this trial?
So it's going to be a real show, I guess. So cameras in the courtroom are not something that I am in favor of. I don't think that it is beneficial necessarily to protecting the defendant's due process. It instead turns this into like a show, basically. But it's something that I think Trump probably wants, and I think that the American public want because they want to be able to see what's going on, and I think that's very understandable. But how does that change what Trump presents? I don't think it helps in a good way. I think all of a sudden now we are relitigating all of the flaws, minor and major, in Georgia, rather than focusing on, for example, the elements of a RICO crime, the elements of what it requires to have knowledge in false statements, that sort of thing. So it changes the legal argument, relitigating the election.
Yeah, well, look, Trump is going to be a defendant sitting in a courtroom. The cameras are going to be on him. I remember in the New York case, there were cameras in there very briefly, just to take photographs, still photos, and he looked directly at them. His demeanor will matter quite a lot. And it's not just the cameras of the world looking at that. The jury will be seeing how he performs too. Do you think he'll act differently because he knows that there are cameras there?
So my experience with President Trump is maybe what the American people who do like him like about him, which is there really isn't TV Trump and behind the scenes Trump. He's kind of the showman that you would see on TV all the time. Like when there's no cameras, when there's just a few number of people in the room, he still is, I mean, I call him a host. Like he makes you feel welcome, and it's always about presentation. So maybe it'll change the way that the public perceives things. Maybe it'll change the way that the lawyers argue, but the way that his face is, his demeanor is, his personality is, sometimes with Trump, he is ruled by his emotion, and there's definite cons to that. One pro is you get who you get.
Well, we'll see how that works out with a jury of his peers who will be ultimately deciding this case. May Millman, thank you very much.